So, let's discuss a little bit about search engine fundamentals. Of course, the reason that you came to this class is because you want to make the search engines useful for your business. But before we can understand how to make search engines, and especially Google, how we can make best use of them, we really need to know a little bit about some of the basics. Now, I have pirated a phrase here. I love to kind of combine my classes on technology with classes in American and English literature. So, we'll take a quote from Atticus Finch in the novel, Harper Lee's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, and we're going to brutalize it here to make it serve our purposes. I say you never really understand, or actually Atticus says, you never really understand a search engine, he said man, but until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it. So, great advice, and it's advice that I suggest we need to apply to search engines. Now, I'm going to take an example website here. I picked this merely because it's hard to see on the screen. If you go to this site, and the address is in your materials, but if you go to this site on your own, you'll see it's a beautiful website. Now, as we take a look at this website, what do you see? All right, are you looking at it? Some of you might say, okay, well, I see a beautiful image of a home and a woman who's happy gardening, and although the colors are stilted and skewed here because they're coming through the projector, still the color balance is nice. I see this button up here that says promo. Let's see, I see some navigational choices up here. It looks like I can go to pages that talk about homes and projects, photo galleries. You're evaluating all of this as a human being. You're taking a look at it. You're pulling all of this in a fraction of a second. As a matter of fact, most people will make a decision whether they're going to abandon a web page or not in less than 3 seconds. So you look at that, and all these aesthetic factors, along with the information that you see, are kind of mixing together in your mind, and you're forming a quick opinion on the website. Now, when we do that, we sort of miss the point about how a search engine looks at that website. This is what a search engine sees, and I know it's very difficult for you to be able to see this on the screen. It's actually shrunk down a little to fit. It's a bunch of code that relates to this website, and this is the only thing that a search engine sees. In other words, a search engine sees no sky with blue clouds and a beautiful home. It sees no happy, smiling faces. It sees information. And not just any information, but information that has been coded in a certain way to make that web page perform certain functions, and when it's put into your computer, to look a certain way to you. However, if you don't understand a little bit about how cold and bloodless a search engine really is, sometimes you'll be fooled. You'll have a website that looks really good, and you'll wonder, why isn't my website performing well on Google? Well, it's probably because you look at your website and it looks really good, and Google looks at your website, doesn't really care that it doesn't look good. It's making its own judgment.